This video covers the scenario setup section of the Social Security Planner sheet. There are 6 cells where you can enter values in this section. I will tab through them and explain each one. First is the scenario recall number. You can enter a number in this cell and hit the recall button to bring back a saved scenario with that number. Below this cell is a scroll up/scroll down button. This will change the number by 1 and do the recall. When I hit the Tab key, we land on the date that the primary might die. If you think your life expectancy is less than age 90, then you should put in a death date that is more realistic. There is also a link in the SSA and Tool Rules document that takes you to the Social Security mortality calculator. When calculating scenarios, it may be more advantageous to retire earlier if you anticipate dying early. Entering the death date can make this apparent. There are edits on the death date that cause errors. You can't get married, divorced, or retire after your death date, or die before you were born. All date entries, when invalid, will get a pop-up message. Hit the Enter key and look at the message area above the scenario results to see the problem. Hit the Tab key and you are on the date that the spouse might die. Please note when you look at the prior cell that it shows the primary's age for that date in years and months. The spouse's death date cell is suppressed for individual filing status. This cell follows the same rules as those used for the primary. Once again, hit the Tab key and you are on the future divorce date cell. Entering a date here will allow you to see the effect of a future divorce. Whether you want a divorce or you are considering it as a financial strategy, it is useful to see the potential impacts. You cannot enter a value here if you have already entered a divorce date in the Facts section. Any date entered must be after the marriage date and before the death dates. Now, hit the Tab key and you can enter the retirement date for the primary. Initially, by default, the full retirement age date is already entered in this cell. If you clear the field, the default will not return. The limitations on dates entered are that you can't retire before age 62, and you must retire by age 70, and any retirement must occur before your death. And for the 4th time, hit the Tab key, and you can enter the retirement date for the spouse. All the same rules for the primary apply here as well. This is the last entry field for the tool. To register the value typed, you can hit Enter or the Tab key. When all the values are entered the way you want them and the message area is blank, you can click on the Save Scenario for Recall button. This will assign the next scenario number and put the values you entered into the scenario table. The table can hold 3,996 scenarios. After a scenario is saved, there will be a message saying duplicate scenario already saved. See scenario 73. This tells you you have entered this scenario and saved it. When you recall a scenario, you will always get the same message. Once a scenario is recalled, you can make changes that will make it unique, and then you can save the new scenario. Next, I will show you the most powerful feature of this tool: generate scenarios. There is a list of possible scenarios to the left of the Generate Scenarios button. Of these, only married filers get to pick from the list. Individual and divorced spouse filing statuses default to the scenarios for them. Married filers can pick Create 100 Scenarios for Married Couple or Create 100 Scenarios for Divorced and Living Together. If you want to consider death before age 90, enter the death dates before running the auto scenarios. These dates will be included in the results. Then, after looking at the results and capturing the numbers of the best scenarios, you can remove the death dates and run the auto-generated scenarios again. Once you pick your auto scenario set, hit the Generate Scenarios button, then take a break. The generation process for married filers takes 8 to 30 minutes, depending on your computer's processing power. There is a note below the list of scenarios called How Auto Scenarios Work. Hover your mouse over this and it will give you a detailed explanation. There is a button called Print Scenario. This button will print this sheet. You need to define a default printer before pressing this button. See the Using Excel video for instructions on setting up the printer. There is a button called Copy Scenario to PDF File. This button will print this sheet and the details sheet to a PDF file. The file will be in the Documents directory, and the name will start with the name of the primary beneficiary. You need to define a PDF printer before pressing this button. See Using Excel video for instructions on setting up the PDF printer. At the bottom of the scenario setup are two orange check boxes. These should be checked when a person is taking early retirement and plans on continuing to earn income through work.